up, you guys? This is Rob from Gay Guy Plays, and as you can see, we have a little bit of a different setup because I am recording from my hotel over here at TennoCon 2018. Now, as many of you guys know, we've had some insane reveals that have just been dropped, and I really wanted to go ahead and put something together for you guys because I've been a little bit absent on Twitter, a little bit absent on Instagram, mainly because of the fact that I was really lazy with dealing with data. But let's get some good data out for you guys right now. So let's jump on into some of the things that they revealed, starting with the softer stuff. We have these skins that they're actually working on right now, which are the deluxe skins. So as we've already seen in the past, they've made a lot of progress on Ninja, and talking to the artist himself, what you see on screen isn't the final product. It is still work in progress, but they have made some serious steps to that. Plus, those fucking daggers are absolutely sick, and the Sayonara, so far, I do not actually hate it at all. So I can't wait to see how it all turns out. And the freaking lion on Ninja's back, is it his back or his front? Listen, today has been an absolute blur, but that spirit animal that is coming out of Ninja is fucking badass looking. I can't wait to get my hands on it. But another one that I cannot wait to get my hands on is, of course, the Vauban skin. He's got his little clockwork stuff going on. They've got some fairly epic shots of him, but really what we're missing is Vauban in motion, and the axe that comes with him is absolutely sick as well. I don't think we've got, do we really have any axe skins? You guys remind me. Aside from Tennogen, I don't think that we have any big old axe skins. So this is gonna be a nice addition to everything, and hopefully they have some animations to go with that too, to really kind of play up the steampunk aspect. Now, moving along from that, we got to see the skin that is actually the most worked on, and the most kind of like, I guess the next one to come up is what I want to say. And that, of course, is the insane Nidus skin. And the models that they had for it were freaking nuts. I asked this live on stream for all the people that were out there, but Nidus with the crossed arms, that reminds you of sentient stuff, right? With the way that kind of like Lotus is positioned. I'm not crazy, but it was really cool to see that kind of concept come to life. And as he evolves, his armor just kind of becomes more and more opulent. And I can't wait to get my hands on the metallics on that one. It looks absolutely sick, but it does not stop there, because they showed that the extra to that skin is actually going to be a doggo skin. Now, I'm crossing my fingers that they make it available for all the doggos and not just the Helmuth Charger. But I'm thinking with a skin very similar to the Moonlight Kavat skin, it kind of really changes the entire frame of it. So it could potentially work on all doggos, which would be absolutely dope, because it'd be like a spirit doggo. But also on top of that, instead of evolving and growing armor like Nidus does, he's actually going to have their own separate armor set that you can put on top of it. So very curious to see how that all works out. But so far from everything that we've seen, it looks freaking fantastic, and I can't wait to get my hands on it. It looks like it's almost done, so it should be out pretty soon. You can tell Rob's had a rough day, a long day nonetheless, but some things that are probably not going to see the light of day anytime soon are some of the new concept art they put out for their other deluxe skins. We actually have one for Nyx, and thank God. Listen, this is the one thing that me and Brozime agreed on, is that Nyx's prototype skin was not the greatest skin out there. It's a nice little throwback to Dark Sector. However, it's not a great skin for Nyx. And finally, they actually pulled from a pool of community artists out there that they discovered, and they commissioned a concept art for the Nyx skin, and it is glorious and regal. Is it me, or does she have a ram's horn head? Listen, it's Warframe. We're getting all of those in. Regardless, I think she looks gorgeous, and a skin worthy of maybe, you know, a rework, a little touch up, just a little bit. I mean, they did it with the Ash Koga gun. I mean, you know, could we please? Just a little bit. Maybe just a little look, just a little touch, just a little breath of life back into Nyx. Regardless, the skin itself, even on its own, is going to be a reason to play Nyx again. So very excited for that one, especially all the ribbons that come out the back. Now, moving on to another frame that we got some concept art for that you know I do play a lot of. That would be Miss Titania, and holy fuck, that skin is goddamn epic. I need to get my hands on the name of that artist, because they are to me, it's very inspirational, because they actually pulled their thought process from that of moths. And, you know, we're sitting here thinking fairies and butterflies butterflies, but nobody takes it to that kind of like dark side of like, you know, the moths. And if you look at actual like images of moths, they have these beautiful like full lush antenna, so it's really cool to pull that into a helmet. I just, you know what, inspiration comes from a bunch of different places, and I'm glad that they were able to get this because it was gorgeous. Now of course there is one last deluxe skin that they went ahead and showed, and that is the Limbo deluxe skin. Now, is it me? Did they say it was like a sentient, like, deluxe skin? What was going on with that? Because, I don't know, there's like, it looked like beard. What, like, listen, he's got some shit that's hanging from his face, and I'm starting to think that all sentients are just gonna have beards. That's just the trend that's going on. Regardless, the rest of the frame looks super, super freaking cool, and I can't wait to get my hands on that one as well. You know, I gotta play around. Now, other things that I can't wait to get my hands on are, of course, the new freaking frames. So, as we saw, they did go ahead and touch on the fact that Revenant is getting a little bit of a kit rework, and it's going to be a bit more laser focused, which I was definitely a big fan. Well, I don't know. I can't really be a fan of something that's not out. So, I like the other version. Maybe we'll like this version as well. I don't know. There's lasers involved. We'll have to figure it out ourselves. But I can't wait to see to go live because, you know, new frames mean new mechanics that we can mess around with. But another thing that we're going to be messing around with is, of course, hashtag codename Garuda. So that is the next female frame that is being made in line, and she looks absolutely sick. They commissioned Kevin Glint to do some artwork of her, and she reminds me very much of Elish Norn from Magic the Gathering art world. Very elegant, but also kind of very dark and bony. Now, they did say that her theme is going to be gore. They really wanted, and they wanted to kind of differentiate it from Valkyrie, because Valkyrie is like savagery, anger, ferociousness. But this, on the other hand, is going to be more cold-hearted, very indifferent kind of gore. Kind of like, I massacre my enemies, and, you know, it's a Wednesday. That's what we do. So I can't wait to see this, because it is going to be kind of like a cross between Zephyr and Valkyrie from what we've seen so far, but the design, at least the design aspect of it, there's really not much more to say, but I can't wait to see what they do with the weird arm bones. Listen, whatever's going to happen, we just kind of have to take it as is, because gore is gore is gore. Gora? Maybe that should be the new hashtag. Regardless, they did show off some new weapons as well. And I'm going to be honest with you, I don't have those listed out in front of me, so I'm going to do this from best of my memory. They did show off some new Corpus weaponry, as well as a new Corpus glaive. And that's definitely something I'm super excited about, because we haven't had a good throwing weapon in a while. Well, we've had good throwing weapons, but it would be nice to see what else we can get. We haven't had a Corpus throwing weapon? We haven't. I mean, the Kestrel I don't think can be considered, Corpus, so no, we haven't. We've also got the Corpus weapon set that I was just talking about. They also went ahead and showed off the weapons that would come with Revenant, I'm assuming, because it's a sentient shotgun, and unless we're getting more sentients, then that's where that sentient shotgun is going to hang out. So can't wait to see that in action as well. We also got to take a look at the frickin' Graham Prime, and this I'm very, very excited about. It looks absolutely gorgeous, because I mean, when you got a big old sword, you might need a big old prime to go along with it. Now, they did say it on stage, so this is not me breaking NDA or anything. But they did say that, you know, on the artwork, DE was dragging their feet a little bit. So that should give you an idea, little hints, little space mama feeding us tidbits on what is going down with that. So hopefully we'll get to see some concept art soon, but realistically, we did just see Limbo Prime release. So maybe it's asking too much to get all of that now. Let's go ahead and move on to the next big reveal, and of course that is our newest landscape, and that is Fortuna. Now, it freaked me out. If you see any reaction videos of me online circulating about this, it was weird. There were humanoids with like robot, like, listen, I understand, you know, they're like biological creatures and shit that get body parts augmented, but they had their heads augmented. Like Listen, there are other body parts I'm willing to lose, maybe like a hand, maybe a leg. Listen, if I don't have to do another leg day in my life, I would be happy. But these motherfuckers took off their heads and they replaced them. I mean, they could have been cute. You never know. Regardless, that was definitely really, really, I won't say cool to see, kind of almost disturbing. There's a whole backstory that goes along with it. Now, if I can find, if they put up the trailer for it, I'll go ahead and link it down below so you guys can get a little bit of a better background lore on it because, you know, lore ain't my thing. But they did show off the fact that we will be getting secondary Zaws and also MOA pet Zaws, which are freaking fantastic. Now, of course, when it comes to Zaws, the big question is power level, so I'm very, very curious to see how all of that goes, and I'm sure that any of the footage you see is mainly going to be placeholder stats, so we'll see what happens there. But we also got our pet MOAs, and it's nice to see DE embracing the meme. Top hat and bow tie, absolutely fantastic. However, they did say that what you put on them would affect what mods you could put there. So I'm almost curious to see if it's like affecting precepts or something. Because, you know, maybe different parts will allow you to use different precepts. Speaking of, and I forgot to mention this a little bit earlier when we were talking about weapon stuff, but there is also a new Sentinel that is coming out with Venus as well. So we've got the Venus Sentinel, and then we've also got the MOA pet Sentinels. So we're just going to be petted out, basically, is what's going to happen. Moving along from that, one of the coolest things, and can I just say this, all of the voice acting on Venus, fucking fantastic. All of the characters I'm already feeling for. The Biz, yes. And we see the girl boss of Fortuna, and I was in love with the way she just handled herself, just the vibe that she gave off. And something else she's given off is some bounties. Now, the interesting thing that they've made 2 bounties in oh my god, Fortuna. Wow, I'm like bringing it back to the days. But basically what happens is you can actually go ahead and capture camps. When you capture a camp, a emissary from Fortuna will actually be able to give you bounties from there. So you can do one bounty, finish that, capture this area, get another bounty, and it's nice to have like an in-game area where you can kind of continue the faction building, especially because that is one of the big issues is like you get a bounty, you go out, you have to come back. You get a bounty, you go out, you have to come back. Now, you can actually just go ahead and stay in that instance this entire time, and it's fantastic. Now, there's no better way to travel in between those bounties than a little bit of a hoverboard action. Yes, we were talking about it. We're talking about vehicles previous to this, and you know, I was thinking, oh, we're gonna get like big Humvees or whatever, driving those around, but no, we got hoverboards, motherfucker, and you can do some X trick. Listen, all of those letters are very, very similar, so if I stumble over them, it's not my fault. But you could be doing some crazy tricks off of there, and it does look like the level designers had a little bit of fun launching themselves off of certain platforms. So, Will, saw you at lunch day. I don't know if that was you, but good job, man. Good job. Moving on from there, can we talk about this whole Nefanyo with spiders coming out of his face shit? What is that? That was absolutely crazy. I just feel like Venus is going to have a whole lot of character, especially because of the fact that they are working with great voice actors. And not only that, they've got some great characters to work off of. We haven't seen anything from the corpus for such a long time, so it's nice to see Nef come back in a strong way. And to see spiders crawling out of his face, that was kind of disgusting. But we did get to take a look at our first, not our first, it could be our first new big boss. And of course, that is the crazy spider tank. They didn't actually go ahead and fight him at all on stream or tell us how we were going to do it, but it's nice to see it in action, and good to know that we are going to have another challenge on Fortuna. Now, speaking of things that are happening on Fortuna, that are big challenges, but are not necessarily on Fortuna, we have the introduction of the fucking skipjack. I think that's what it's called. Listen, my brain's still reeling. But we are going to be having space battles. During there was an epic scene where legitimately this Tenno class fighter like dips down from the sky and picks you up very Mass Effect Normandy style. You board that sucker, and I think they showed 3 people, but I wonder if you can have 4. Because, you know, 4 is a full squad, and that would make more sense. But you take this flight up into space, which looks absolutely insane, crazy, and gorgeous. Kind of actually, if we're making Mass Effect references, very similarly to how things traveled in Mass Effect 3. Beautiful, the kind of like zipping through space, but it brought us into another area over Venus, where there were Corpus flagships up there that were bombarding Venus, possibly us, which, you know, is not very nice at all. However, we can't put a stop to that. So they actually went ahead on the live demo, which claps to them because they did not crash the demo, not at all. I know there were some worries there, but they were flying around, and they showed it from one point of view, but there's actually multiple things that were happening at the same time. So we can see from the actual footage, there's one person piloting, and you're able to take down other fighters as you make your way to the big freighter. I don't know what to call big space things, but that's what it is. So you're fighting off enemies, kind of like Gatling gun style. Multiple Tenno can actually go ahead and mount these weapons, which are absolutely amazing. Teamwork, right? Teamwork makes the dream work, but at the same time, your ass can be boarded as well. This is one of those things that I kind of lost my mind on the ship. That's definitely where I was like, oh my god, they're coming aboard the ship. And everything that Steve had said on previous streams, because he did have his own personal streams where he was trying to make a ship, but it came to life, it came to fruition, and we actually have combat aboard the ship. The ship can be damaged, so you do have other Tenno that you're working with that can actually go ahead and put fires out, very Guns of Icarus style, you know, a couple people manning the ship, one person piloting the ship, and, you know, other people to kind of maintain all of that stuff. But the most interesting thing is what comes up next. Now, of course, we got to go ahead and board that big freighter. So you're able to jump out of the ship, and you're able to go into your arc wing and traverse into the big ship. Now this is where things get kind of weird. You can actually go ahead and hack the ship, which is nuts. So the people on the outside of the ship in your original ship are actually assisting with help taking down things on the inside of the big Corpus freighter, which is fantastic. They even noted, and I don't think that they showed it during the demo, but they noted the fact that if you kind of like look out of one of the windows, you'll actually be able to see your own ship out there as it's firing and kind of like helping you out. So that was absolutely mind-bending and blowing. So I'm excited for it. I want to know down in the comment section if you guys are absolutely feeling it too, because this is a nice way for them to introduce what we wanted from Arcwing for a long time, is some seamless, you know, flow-to-flow combat. And this is combat that makes sense. It's not just like jumping from random things, but these are actually space battles where you take your Arcwing out to try to traverse and to hold off enemies, and then to be able to actually go in and board the ship and then come back out on the other end, which is absolutely fantastic. And I'm glad. Maybe we'll get a little bit more Arcwing love. Who the fuck knows? But I'm definitely excited for the new game mode. So I'm curious to see exactly how big this game mode is going to be. We'll find out. I'm sure as soon as Venus gets a little bit closer, we'll get more information on that. And just to let you know, I'm pretty sure I didn't see any release date on Venus, so don't nobody ask me. If I find out a release date, I'll put it down in the I'll put it down as a pinned comment. But we cannot end things without seeing the way that DE ended things with, of course, what seems to be the last cinematic quest that is out there, and it is going to be not the old war, but the new war. And as the credits rolled on that one, it said, you know, the old war, and then it flicks over to the new, and I'm like, ah! So for those of you guys who have absolutely no clue what I'm talking about, you get the cinematic pan over what seems to be some sort of outpost with red lights, and it's flickering, and it kind of goes through, and you slowly see this purple hazy light. And then you see the Lotus in her newest, well, I guess you can't say her newest form, but in her sentient form. And as it kind of zooms out, you see a ton of sentience. And I'm like, bitch, we killed the Orokin for you. We should be cool. So is this our celebratory party? Is that what's happening? Because we should be friends. Why are you coming after us? We did your job. You're fine, boo. But apparently, this is going to be the new war, and I'm really interested to see how this comes out. I think during the live stream that I was having earlier, I was really curious to see whether people wanted the storyline to progress forward into chasing Lotus, or to go backwards into giving us more history. But as you can see here, they're combining a little bit of both. Taking information from the old war, hopefully giving us more information on that in the new war. So I'm gonna have all of the relevant links that I can possibly find down in the description box below. I want to make sure you guys watch all of them. I want you to give me all of your feels down in the comments below. There's so many other things happening here at TennoCon, and I'm gonna be jumping off very, very soon to get this all edited and then join into the rest of the festivities. Regardless, I'll be posting up vlogs soon, and there's a lot of cool things. I'll show you some of my loots that I ended up picking up. Regardless though, that does it for me for now. And as always, love somebody, hurt nobody, and touch yo body. Live from TennoCon 2018. I guess it's not really live because it's recorded, so toss that out the window. I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye!